Hi folks, welcome to Fight Scene. This is my YouTube channel where I go over everything that's going on in the MMA world and usually put it over some footage of the EA UFC video game just to give you something to look at. And listen, I didn't want to make this video today. I've been away from home for a couple days for work, and I was driving home and my phone is just freaking out with people talking about this whole Floyd Mayweather versus CM Punk thing in the UFC. I'm not exactly sure how it originated because, like I said, I just got home, but basically Floyd Mayweather's father or uncle, one of those two, I think it was his uncle, said that Floyd would beat up CM Punk in the UFC, and it just spiraled the whole internet out of control because then Joe Rogan talked about it on his podcast, and here we are today discussing who would potentially win in a MMA match between Floyd, a boxer, and CM Punk. And you know, I gotta just touch on it because it's what people are talking about. And Joe Rogan had said that he thinks that Floyd Mayweather would have a real good chance at winning in the UFC against CM Punk. And I understand why he's saying that kind of thing, because Floyd is maybe the best boxer we've ever seen, and boxing is a part of MMA. In a previous video, and I'll link it up here in the YouTube card, I talked about what would happen between a fight against Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. And the long and short of that video is I said Floyd stands no chance in an MMA fight against Conor McGregor. Conor would take him down instantly and choke him out, or armbar him, or basically do whatever he wanted. Conor would also throw one leg kick, and Floyd would have no idea what to do. But CM Punk, and I was going to make a video on this one day, I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. CM Punk is the worst fighter maybe to ever be in the roster of the UFC. He's currently 0-1 in MMA, which is ridiculous for him to be fighting in the #1 promotion in the world. But he is a terrible, at least as far as UFC standards go, he is the worst person on the roster right now. Now let me be clear, he would probably still beat me up. Actually, I know that CM Punk would still beat me up. He's been training for a full-time job at one of the best camps in the world with some of the best fighters in the world, and so he would beat me up. I mean, but we're not talking about in a fight against me and CM Punk. We're talking about CM Punk being in the #1 promotion for MMA in the world, and he's just not at the UFC caliber. But I gotta say, in a fight against Floyd Mayweather, I still believe he wins that fight. Even the worst UFC fighter on the roster beats Floyd Mayweather, one of the best boxers ever, in a UFC MMA match. And I know Joe Rogan gave some reasons as to why he thinks that Floyd might win. But CM Punk is still a blue belt. He's still trained jiu-jitsu for a very long time. He's probably even at the skill level of higher than a blue belt, but he doesn't train so frequently that he has got that promotion to a higher belt. He trains with Henry Gracie, and outside of any of his WWE career stuff, which I'll make a video on one day, is utter BS. I know he says that he thinks he's been punched in the face, and you know, you don't want to hear my opinion on the WWE in this video. But even as a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, he would take Floyd down, who has no wrestling training, no jiu-jitsu training, and no kicks or anything, doesn't know how to throw a knee, any of that stuff. He would walk in there, not even throw a jab, take Floyd down, because Floyd's got little legs, and he would basically do whatever he wants to him on the ground, even as a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. So Floyd, being a fantastic boxer, simply wouldn't know how to handle this approach to fighting. And we've basically seen this fight already. We saw James Toney versus Randy Couture. And Randy, did he even throw a punch in that fight? He basically walked in there, ankle picked him, got him down, and choked him out. CM Punk, even with the limited bit of knowledge he has been training with Ben Askren for at least 2 years now. And he's been training jiu-jitsu longer than that. He would walk in there, take Floyd down basically whenever he wanted to. Even as a blue belt, it doesn't take much. I mean, if you do jiu-jitsu, do you remember the first time that you went to class and rolled with a blue belt? It was pretty crazy. And if you've never done jiu-jitsu, and you disagree with what I'm saying, go to your local gym and roll with a blue belt. It won't matter how big you are. It won't matter how strong you are. They're going to hold you down and they're going to choke you out. And Floyd would be no different. Now, I'm not talking about a fight where CM Punk attempts to stand up and kickbox with Floyd. Even with the ability to kick, if CM Punk were to stay standing to try and prove a point, it would be a very, very bad night for him. But I think he's smart enough, and it has trainers that are skilled enough to tell him to walk in there and take him down. I believe that CM Punk is the worst fighter in the UFC roster possibly ever, but he would still beat Floyd Mayweather in an MMA match. Floyd would not know how to deal with anybody when it comes to ground fighting, whether that's wrestling or jiu-jitsu or sambo or catch wrestling or whatever the crap you want to call it. He wouldn't know how to deal with that. Now, if he wrote into his contract or something where fighters weren't allowed to take him down or whatnot, maybe you would have a chance at winning. But then we're not talking about an MMA match. We're talking about some weird rules form of fighting in the UFC. But Floyd has no chance, zero chance in the UFC. Even if he took 6 months of sprawl training, that's what everybody always likes to talk about, right? Give this guy 6 months of sprawl training and he would know what to do. It wouldn't matter. CM Punk, for as much disdain that I have towards him and him being on the roster in the UFC and being in the UFC video games, even though he's 0-1 in MMA, and further to that, I do believe he will lose his next fight. If it's against Mike Jackson or somebody, I think he'll lose that fight. As much as I don't like him and I don't have a lot of respect for his skills at the UFC level, he would still beat a boxer who has no idea what to do on the ground. We've seen this before. Royce Gracie proved this a long time ago, and it continues to be true even in 2018. So can we stop with the madness? Can we stop with all the talk about Floyd coming to the octagon? It's never going to happen because Floyd is smart enough to know what it would do to his legacy as a fighter. And even if it did happen, am I saying I wouldn't buy it? Am I saying I wouldn't watch it? No, I would have a big party at my house to watch Floyd Mayweather get armbarred or choked out in the first round. Absolutely. But this whole concept is ridiculous, and it's really just a way to keep Floyd, who is a retired fighter, keep his name in the media. So we just got to stop with all that. Anyway, that's my video on all this stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody who has been commenting on the videos, even if it's not great comments. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, let me know why in the comment section, because I just want to talk about this stuff. That's why I make these videos. So thanks again, and keep an eye out for more videos coming later this week.